CMPRadio.net. It's the station.
All right. Welcome to CMPRadio.net, the voice of Chester. It is now time for the wonderful world of Rich Blye. Is this thing on? Mic check 1 2.
Your mic is on, good brother.
I'm just asking, bro. You don't hear that reverb. What's going on?
I'm trying to just make it like just.
Oh, you trying to just make it mellow?
You can.
Listen, ain't no candles burning. Ain't no candles burning in here today, bro. Like, I see that you had the ladies all up here and everything. Shout out to the doc last night, right, man. Like, for real. Like, I'm real appreciative of those type of services that we're receiving from the community. Like, that's free game. Very much informative. Like I said, I needed her mic turned up a little bit so that way, I could hear what she was saying. That was her first time?
No, that was her second. That was her second.
Her second one?
You've done this at least 40 times.
Yeah.
And from the very first time that you've done a podcast, now look at where your mouth is to the microphone. Right? Yeah. Because you know what you have to do. Yeah. That's her second time doing it.
No, that wasn't a critique, bro. I wanted to hear what she had to say.
Absolutely.
Like, for real, like, I heard her say, listen, I put the phone to my ear. Right. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, because, normally the sound is so crisp you don't hear it. And I knew what it was. Like, I saw the position of her mic. Right. And I was like, wait a minute. I saw you come on the screen. Right. Hurry up and get out.
Get out the way.
Get out the way. You know what I mean? But like I said, I just wanted to shout out that segment last night. I mean, like, it was, it was something that I'm going to positively say that I needed, at the moment, dealing with a lot of stuff this week, man. It's been, it's been a week.
I mean, she came in, she talked to me for a couple minutes, getting me to understand who I am.
Right.
And also, she's like, I want to give men good energy. Right. There's not a lot of good energy being passed out. Everybody's talking about how bad we are, how terrible we are. And she's like, how hard it is to go out into a world and try to take over or create something to bring back to the den. And when you get to the den, you got another fight.
Yep.
She's like, how hard that is, yep. Right? So, she's like, and I get why. I understand why. I understand that there weren't a lot of men that were accountable back in the day. There weren't a lot of men that were trying as hard as you guys are trying today. So, she's like, I just want to give y'all credit. I just want to thank y'all. And I want y'all to understand that y'all health is your wealth, right? Yeah. So, diabetes, high blood pressure, colonoscopy, right? Make sure you're on top of all this stuff, right? And you're doing all this. So, I was just excited to be here and to allow their podcast to create a good forum.
Yeah, because we need all of that, bro. Like, when she started talking about, prostate cancer and she started speaking on, getting your prostate check and the fear of getting it done, and I'm going to say this big time. Before I had mine done, because I had the colonoscopy and everything, that it's a legitimate, stigma fear. You know what I mean? And it's a stereotypical fear, first of all, because, again, we have been made to feel as though that certain things with our bodies, if you get that type of thing, you're gay. I mean, that's the number, bro. That's the number one thing. Oh, you let the doctor do that to you.
If he's not sticking his penis in me,
right? You know what I'm saying?
Gay.
You know what I mean? And hold on, it's a sterile environment. There's no mattress. You know what I mean? This it's not.
Even if it's a mattress, it's just
Bro,
for comfort on your knees.
No,
you feel me? Because you've been over.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like that right there, and that's what stops men from understanding that this is a procedure.
And if
it's a procedure,
if you
bro.
got a woman doctor.
It's like it's like a woman going to the gynecologist, bro. I hold on, and I'm not comparing the two because I all know the extreme and the cold and everything. Like, listen, ain't nothing compared to a woman going to a gynecologist. That shit is absolutely horrible for them.
Some women that like it.
No, bro. If I guarantee you, the majority of women that I know and that have talked to me about this procedure absolutely hate it.
What, the prostate joint?
No. I'm talking about what I'm not trying to. What I'm saying is that
you're getting lost.
Yeah.
Because you're not trying to.
No. I'm not trying to get lost. Let me put it like this: men have a stigma about going and getting this process done because of the stereotype that is pronounced with it that somebody has to take their fingers and put it through your rectum and feel your prostate. Okay. Now I know that's okay for you.
What you mean okay for me?
No, it's okay. Listen,
what type shit is that?
You saying okay? Like
I'm just saying okay. I mean,
hold on. Have you had your prostate checked?
Hell no.
Okay, so again, there you go.
I haven't found a female doctor yet. I'm not letting no man put his big fingers in my butt. That's not happening.
What you gonna do when you get the colonoscopy?
I'm going to sleep.
So
and she's a female.
You don't know that.
Yes, she is. She's a doctor. I met with her already.
Okay.
What you mean I don't know that?
Okay.
All right. Shit is that?
All right, bro. All right. Okay. Right,
Right out
hold on. You're gonna be asleep.
Yeah, they gotta put you to sleep to check the
of course they do.
colonoscopy.
Listen, wait till you hit the
And you know how big the tube is. If anything bigger than that tube has entered me, my butt will know.
No, you won't.
Shit.
No, you won't.
Fuck, yes, you do.
No, you won't.
Yes, you do.
No, you won't.
That's a little sore.
Okay, I'm trying to tell you.
That's a little sore.
All right.
Did you get yours done?
Yes.
It was a sore afterwards?
No.
Right. So if it's sore after something bigger went in.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. No. I didn't.
You won't know.
But you're not going to know. You're not going to know.
Nigga, you know.
You listen. They tell you, but you don't know.
You've been violated.
Did you see the tube? Did you ever see the tube? Did they like bring it out? She showed it to you. It's about that long. Yeah. Right, flexible.
And then there's more.
Yeah, there's more to it. Yeah, you know, it extends. And then you go around it. Yeah.
So if it's a little bit wider.
Yeah.
Like the circumference of a Johnson.
I don't know. I don't know that.
I'm talking about mine.
Oh, okay, all right. Like I don't know that either. Hey, bro, listen. We keeping it clean, bro.
Keep on saying the things that you don't know. But like I said, if it's sore, you'll know, bro. Like if you already did it and went through it and you weren't sore afterwards, they said there's a lot of air up there and different things like that. You got a lot of farting. You feel me? Like so, I'm a no.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a man on this earth that don't know when he's been violated. Like, yo, this thing hurt, bro. Like,
I've never been violated. I don't know nothing about that, bro.
Let's change the subject.
Yeah, because I don't
get your colonoscopy, get your prostate exam.
Get your prostate exam. You know, there's no shame to the game, brothers. Like, and if you see them right now, there are a lot of men who are passing away at a very early age. We're talking about in their 50s.
Yeah, 30s.
You know, 30s. Yeah. You know, there's the NFL player for the Washington Redskins, 54. You know, we don't know the circumstances surrounding these things, but I just want to say, please go get a physical. Start there. Just get a physical. You know, find out your status. Find out where your blood pressure is. Find out, you know, your sugar. Find out about, you know, your iron. Find out these things that are necessary in order for your kids and your grandkids to have you for the rest of their lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's nothing like watching your grandchildren grow up. You know, it's nothing like seeing your kids succeed and go on to bigger things. You know, but the most hurt part feeling is that if your children or grandchildren are watching you die because you don't take care of yourself, you know, mentally, physically, spiritually. Okay, you got to do that Trinity. It's absolutely necessary. Okay, like I always start off the program, we got sidetracked a little bit. Let me start with scripture, St. John 11, 35 Jesus wept, because I want to keep that short, because Jesus wept because his friend Lazarus had died before he could get to him, and he raised him from the dead. And that is the pretext to that. Before I get into the significance of Black history, I want to talk about an event that's coming up on February the 26th, which is a Thursday. It is at the Media House Tavern, I believe. Media House, or hold on, let me make sure I get this correct. My man Colonel Jenkins from the Delaware County Office of Military and Veterans Affairs has really been spot on with keeping me abreast of things that are going on. So Save the Date is a celebration of Black History Month, an afternoon of music, art, history, and conversation. February the 26th from 12 to 2 p.m. Media Townhouse at 117 Veteran Square, Media, PA, 19063. There is a Q code to scan to RSVP. I believe that the luncheon is free. I believe that everything part of this event is free. And the theme, again, is Black veterans throughout the course of all of our campaigns in American history and how we serviced America. I've been selected once again to have a conversation about Juneteenth and the significance of the United States colored troops and some of the regiments and some of the things that sprang forth from Juneteenth as it surrounds that particular group of veterans. I'm very honored and feel very distinguished that Colonel Jenkins from the Office of Veterans and Military Affairs and Media has asked me to be there, and I really believe that this is going to be a really great thing. So if you don't have anything to do for lunch on the 26th, you are cordially invited. You can see the flyer on Delaware County Council's page, and I do believe it is also on my page as well. I'll be putting it back up shortly for anybody that wants to RSVP for this event. Again, this is a Thursday, January the 26th. I know it's a very obscure day, but as you know, we only have 28 days to actually celebrate this month. So that's what being said. As always, our number one mission is to change a life and save a life here with the American Legion. Our goal is to talk openly and boldly about the challenges affecting Americans every day. Be the one to act, be the one to call, be the one to serve, be the one to save, be the one, courtesy of your American Legion, specifically your Upper Darby American Legion, post number 214 in Upper Darby, PA. All right, I got that out the way. Let's talk some Black history and the significance. First of all, it's 100 years.
100 years since what?
Since the inception of Black History Week that turned into Black History Month. 100 years. Very little known fact, huh?
It was a week?
Started off as a week.
Wow.
Graduated into a month.
Wow.
You know?
It's all year for me.
Of course it's all year for everyone, every ethnicity, everybody, But the significance of this is that it was a necessary. And why is it a necessary?
It was what?
It was a necessary. Okay? And why? Why was this significant point of specifically African American significance of history, of historical figures, of people?
Because it's important to know what you did, where you come from, where you're going, all that good stuff, right? If you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going, right? So I think that's a lot of why people, appreciate Black History Month, why people want it to be every day, because we've discovered, we've created, we've lived, we've loved, we've done a lot of things that make this country great. And without us, literally, they wouldn't have no toilet.
Okay, and
No electricity.
Listen. We can absolutely go through all of the processes of the inventions and everything like that, and I'm absolutely going to agree with you.
Wouldn't be able to remove a heart.
I absolutely agree with you.
Take a piss.
I absolutely agree with you.
You wouldn't be able to beat your meat.
Listen, you wouldn't be able to do it. Be a lot of things you wouldn't be able to do. You know, a whole heck of a lot. But the beauty of it is that why I say the month is so significant is that it's a yearly reminder that does not go away, or had to be created in this time, like a national recognition for Juneteenth. That Black History Month is not only generally accepted, it's highly anticipated by most people because there are people who want to understand the African Black American experience. There are a lot of folks who, and I can tell you this on my page, who will tell you in a heartbeat that a lot of the things that I helped them learn and have an understanding with, they never knew. And I'm talking about people that are older than me, folks that are not, African Black Americans, folks that had a difference of opinion based upon what they were taught, and really had some, intense conversations about it with several folks, and, they know who they are, but they had to come to an acceptance of the truth. And I think that the significance of talking about our Black history and all of it and everybody involved in it is that we've got a lot of people that we've forgotten in Black history that have had some significance, and we tend to forget a lot. We tend to forget. We tend to forget that we stand on the backs of giants. We tend to forget that there are people that have already given us a path of success. We tend to forget that the significance of celebrating Black history is to remind us of the greatness of ourselves, at least for a continuous amount of days in a row. There are a lot of children all across this country who are Black, African American, person of color, whatever title you want to put on yourself, that don't get this experience every day, like you said, but may get this experience for the next 28 days, or vice versa, like Upper Darby High School. You know how the teachers do their panel boards and do their doors and stuff like that, outside the classroom to invoke school spirit and classroom spirit and decorate their halls and all that other type stuff, you know what I'm saying? Up at Darby High School, there's only one teacher. One teacher that has displayed something for Black American history. And come to find out that inside of the school, that the Juneteenth program that they told me about, that they were having as a club, that they were having as, one of those programs where kids can elect to, come and learn about their history, is non-existent after receiving several reassurances that it would be part of an extra curriculum. So a lot of people tend to forget when you take your eyes off of something, especially when it comes to one's history. And I think that in light of everything that we've seen for the past several weeks, for the past 2 weeks, our focus has been what? The Grammys, Valentine's Day, now NBA basketball, All-Star game, and then what do we get at the end of the month? Something. And what I don't see is that sense of pride that we brag about of wanting to celebrate it every day, and we can't even get through 28 days without nobody, and I mean nobody, really talking about the experiences of the creation of this and formation of this land, of the inventions that we do. We have children that are not getting it in school. So where are they going to get it? We got this worldwide internet. We got all of these podcasts. We got all these great teachers. We got all these great mentors. We got all of this great stuff. And yes, I see a lot of people moving and shaking. But when it comes to the average citizen that I've come across, and even people on my page and folks who do consider themselves black and want to tell me that I'm not, I see zero movement. But I do see you loving some other people who don't love you back. I see no, bro, we gonna listen, because I'm gonna tell you about this little coonery and buffoonery that, you know, is going to get called out directly by a lot of these so-called folks that want to tout this, oh, I'm black, y'all, I'm black, y'all, I'm black, y'all, but not really. And what I mean by not really is that,
You talking about me?
no, sir.
Oh,
Why would I would call you?
saying.
I would call you by name, Bryce.
Right,
I'd be like, Bryce, I think you frauding.
Right.
I would say it.
All right.
I'd be like, I'm fraud. You know what I mean? What you want to do? Kick me out?
Hey, no, I ain't gonna kick you out.
All right, hold on.
See,
All right, cool.
freedom of speech is to understand that everybody has a right to their own opinion.
You're not free from the consequences of that
You're
speech.
not free from the consequences of that speech, but why would I hate you because you're saying what's on your mind?
But
I understand it. I get it. Other people don't.
Right, but see, here's the thing. I'm I'm talking and engaging, and I'm waiting, for everybody to, bring their chime on, and I'll answer some questions, about it. But also at the same time, like I said again, our children and other children are not learning about the greatness of what we've done in this nation because it's convoluted and distracted against. And this is why the effort was made to ensure that we are not forgotten about, because we've been forgotten about.
But this is what I'm saying, why it's important to celebrate it yearly, not just monthly. Because
again,
think about everything that's wrapped up in the month of February.
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
the Grammys,
Mm-hmm.
the All-Star game,
Mm-hmm.
whatever's happening in the government,
Mm-hmm.
whatever's happening in your community,
Yep.
whatever's happening in their community.
Hold on, that's every day.
But what I'm saying,
That's every day. The Super Bowl is not every day. The Grammys are not every day. But there's some type of country.
Day.
Wait a minute. Hold on. There's some type of country music award.
Yeah.
There's some type of movie special. There's some type of this. There's some type of this or whatever. And once again, like I said, we have other nationalities in this country that have helped build this country and stuff like that. Chinese New Year, Italian Festival Day, Italian Heritage Day. Not to forget anybody, but let's look at this succinctly. We were given an opportunity to make something out of nothing, as usual. Okay, as usual. And as usual, we did succeed. But because in our vanity, because we feel as though we should have more, instead of building on what we already have, the platform that we do have, and make it significant, and make the Super Bowl second, and make the Grammys second, and make Valentine's Day second, and make, all of this second, we hero worship. We sit back and got to prove that one day out of the week you love somebody when 364 have passed through. And everybody else, listen, I don't see nobody on the side of the road. I don't see nobody that's starved. I don't see nobody that got Christmas or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, miss me with that. You know what I mean? And I already explained to you how I feel about that day. Anyway, it's not that big of a significance to me. I know it's significant for other people. Great.
And that's the thing.
Right.
The things that mean something to you, you want people to care about, correct?
No, it's not what it means to me. No. Let
me change that.
No.
The things that mean something to your people, the things that you're able to.
I don't want us to be part-time with the passion that we have for our culture, bro. I see a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, there are times when people come together under this banner of blackness. There are times when people will come together because something happened, the blanket of our community. But then when it comes down to the individuality of dealing with the man that black man on the street, you fraud. When it comes to the black man here at the radio station, you know what I mean? You know what he building and everything, and you fraud. When it comes to the black man that goes out and chases history in order to make sure that it doesn't get lost and that awareness comes to a whole county, and you fraud. What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to do the same thing that our grandparents and our great-grandparents and our great-great-parents did. Well, that's how they are. We'll just have to just let this slide. That's what happens.
Keep pushing.
No, I know keep pushing, bro. I know keep pushing. Right. But see, here's the thing. If we understand that part of the dynamic and people know it, that people have gotten lost in this time continuum,
right.
Okay? We've lost so much information through lies, and now that the truth is coming out in the palm of people's hands, that we can be connective to our past again. Right. We can't have people doing it fraudulently. Case in point, Black Wall Street. Yes, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street was destroyed. Sure was. But it was always, well, watch this, it was built back up. 1925, 3 years.
Who built it back up?
Same people that built it the first time.
Where was it built back up?
Right back up in Greenwood, Oklahoma.
And then what happened?
And it still exists to this day.
Then they ran a highway straight through it.
No, it still exists to this day.
Straight through it.
What?
In Greenwood, it's a highway straight through it.
Greenwood is still existing.
Not saying that Greenwood doesn't exist, but there's a highway straight through what was typically there. So where the highway stood was other locations.
There's other locations. Everything
wasn't the same.
Right. Of course, I'm right. No, it wasn't the same.
You burn something down and you tear something and you kill people, depending on who you killed, depending on where their money was located.
Right.
If their money was located in their buildings and the building caught on fire, they lost all their money. If their money was located in a bank that caught on fire, and guess what? Wasn't nobody willing to sit behind that money or pay out on their insurance claims.
And hold on. I agree with you. It was not the same, even though it was rebuilt. Even though that they got, to get the structure back again and everything, and it wasn't the same the way it was in 1921, and things and costs went up and everything like that, right? But here's the thing, like I say, is the fraud. So everyone knows what happens to historically Tulsa and Black Wall Street and everything like that, but it happened to a lot of other communities. It happened to a community like my family, historically, same way. But when we talk about that, and when we talk about the plan of how I can get my money back, when we talk about the infrastructure structure of how these folks did what they did, and you give them introductions and you give them paperwork on how it was done and the history of how it was built up, people go, oh, Rich, that was just then. And this is now.
Did you stop fighting for that?
No, I didn't stop fighting. It stalled.
All right.
It stalled.
Why did it stall?
Well,
because somebody,
listen, I'm gonna tell you like this, and here's the truth. It's stalled on the federal level right now, and it's also stalled on the local level as well. That's the major snag, because people want to play politics with your history. That's the significance of why we have to teach our own children about Black history. We cannot leave it in the hands of so-called teachers who have no connection to the history. That's number one. When I was taught about the significance of Black history, I heard it from Black people who share similar or far worse experiences for them to become teachers in order to be licensed to teach me, a child growing up in the 70s. What I try to explain to folks is that my generation is the last generation to touch the civil rights era. We know the struggle. We know what was done. When I was born, my heroes were absolutely murdered and executed in the years I was born. My heroes died, when I was up and coming, in the, late 60s, early 70s. So all around in my school, we saw every picture of every Black hero that had ever done anything in America for Black Americans. We had Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, James Brown. And that was on the airways. This is when they were sending black men to go die over in Vietnam. And we didn't understand why we were losing black men, and people don't understand why we didn't get black men back. But we blame a system and say, oh, the black man just up, jumped, and ran. No, the black man didn't just up and ran. The black man was murdered and kept being murdered and kept leaving people, fatherless. I know about the deadbeats, and we know about the deadbeats, and there's two sides to every story with that too.
The men that did come back didn't come back whole.
They didn't come back right. Not whole.
Whole.
No. Let's call it. They didn't come back right. See, people want to use the PC terms. Let's call it what it is.
I mean, you saying they didn't come back.
They didn't come back right. They didn't come back right in the head. They didn't come back right in the body. They didn't come back right in the spirit. When they left here, they were right. They were righteous.
They were whole when they left.
They were righteous.
They were whole when they left. Correct.
Full of spirit.
Full of spirit. So
righteous.
They come back at 80%.
Empty.
Coming back 80% or 60% is not whole. So that's what I was saying. Right could be taken so many different ways. Right?
Exactly.
Somebody could take right and say they came back gay. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying whole spiritually. Right, when you go into
we had that episode on the Jeffersons. I posted that, right? Yeah, you saw that, right?
When you go into war, when you go in and you lose a part of yourself, even if you make it back, you had to kill people. You had to see things. You had to see things that you typically didn't see. Think people blowing up, people dying, head popped off, arms, stomach, leg, all blood everywhere.
And so now, once again, see how you explaining it? Why aren't our children hearing that?
My children hear it.
Exactly, yours do. And where do they hear it from?
From their father.
From their father.
Right.
Right.
Where else they supposed to hear it from?
Exactly. Listen, I'm in total agreement with you. They ain't supposed to hear from nobody else.
They're not supposed to hear from
no,
school.
It should be story time.
That's not. So we understand what schools are now. They're just there to implement these tests so they can continue to get their funding.
No, they're there to indoctrinate your kids and get them to be disobedient.
But they're there in our areas, in heavily black and brown populated areas. They're there to get the test done, to get their fun. That's the biggest thing. Let's get these kids in here so we can test them. Let's make sure they show up. Let's have spirit day before the test. Let's have spirit day after the test. Let's let them know how it's all about the testing, right? So they don't talk. They don't test history.
But hold on. I'm say this.
Do they test history?
Of course not.
Right. So if they don't test history, why are we teaching?
Of course, listen. No one's going to educate. Your enemy is not going to educate you on the history. Why would they want you to learn your history? Why would they want you to know that you were great before this country was great? Of course not. Why would they teach other people to be tolerant of you when they tell folks when they come across here, oh, this is how the black man is, this is how the black woman is, this is how the black child is? Nobody wants to create that sense of pride. That's why the significance of this month has to be, we have to keep pressing so that way the future generations don't keep coming up under this stigma that it's not important or that the old stories don't matter. I know you get tired of hearing about Frederick Douglass. I know you get tired of hearing about Harriet Tubman. I know you get tired of hearing about it. So why don't you do this? If you're tired of hearing about our legendary figures,
go look up some new
people. Hold on, right. Go look up some new people. Right, go look up some new people.
I just learned some new things about Frederick Douglass. I didn't know he was telling people down south, don't come up here because we ain't ready.
Yeah.
My man hit me. He's like, he said that in a speech. He was like, slow
Fred
down.
Fred said a lot of truth, bro. A lot.
So he was the first nigga hater?
No, that's not what it was. That's not what it was. It's like Malcolm and Martin and Frederick Douglass. Once they got out of their secular environment and started seeing what was then the world, for Frederick Douglass is, moving past Baltimore and, going up into Boston and being in Washington, D.C. and being attributed to a different life, putting on good clothes and being, pretty much served, as an American. He wasn't treated badly. He wasn't treated harshly, but he got to speak his mind. I'm talking about after he got up here, he was in the company of people. Bro, Frederick Douglass was not being whipped after he came from out of within.
Whipped, but neither was Jackie Robinson, but he was treated harshly.
No, Jackie Robinson Jackie Robinson was treated ignorantly after the fact of the birth of Jim Crow and all this other type stuff. Another build up, another 104 years of systematic oppression after rising out of slavery and Reconstruction. Each form took a different form for each era. Okay, but again, if we don't tell the Jackie Robinson story, if we don't integrate it into our American history, if we don't keep telling these things, generation after generation after generation will think that we did nothing. Case in point, Upper Darby had a Black History Month celebration. Had a panelist of 3 elected officials. Not elected official, 2 elected officials and 1 police lieutenant. So the police Lieutenant Leanna Stevens, our first Black female police officer. She does a lot of community stuff with the kids, very engaged. I believe she's former military, her husband's former military, great personality, great person, you know. She does what she does. You know, she does what she does for the kids and the police department, and she works well with, of course, her boss, the mayor, and state rep Gina Curry. Mayor Ed Brown spoke about the importance of, you know, Black history and that you have Black leaders and that you should listen to your Black leaders and you should listen to them. And he gave his example of, you know,
listen and follow directions, or just listen.
Listen, I
what is the truth if it can't be questioned? Like, really?
You'll find out about that when they close down public speech on Wednesday.
Who's closing down public speech?
Upper Darby Township.
Why are they doing that?
What you mean, why are they doing
I'm
that?
asking you a question. I'm not.
Everybody's doing that. Chester gonna get the same thing.
They're closing that. Where's public speech being closed down at?
Oh, public speech is not being closed. It's rather it's being restricted. What they're doing is
during the meetings,
they're going to introduce an ordinance that unless you are a taxpayer or a actual address resident, then you cannot speak. But the Home Rule Charter, which is the basically constitution of Upper Darby, says any concerned person. But because we have the same lawyer that was from the Pennsbury School District that did the very same thing or attempted to do so down at the Pennsbury School District over in New Jersey, he's been hired up here, and they want to do the same thing because you have certain public officials who can't handle speech, bro. They're crybabies. As soon as you say something to them, as soon as you say harsh words to them, well,
you don't have to say harsh words.
Bro, listen, no, if you're not doing your job,
then you're not doing your job.
Right, you're right. So you're going to get harsh words.
Harsh words aren't
listen.
Necessary.
Nobody's calling.
The children are watching.
Listen. Nobody.
He said it was about the children.
Listen. Nobody's calling. Everybody's saying, "Excuse me, how are you, tax raisers? You know, how are you? You know, charlatans. You know what I mean? Like
taxes not supposed to go up.
No, taxes ain't supposed to go up, bro. The taxes going up. Listen, taxes growing up means that somebody has mismanaged budgets, bro.
Taxes going up saying
stop
that things
it.
Are more
that's
expensive.
because that's what you accept.
No,
it's what you no, it is. Y'all accept taxes, baby. Y'all accept taxes. Y'all accept taxes. Y'all accept taxes.
You can't be mad.
You accept. No, what you mean you can't be mad?
Keep saying the same thing over and over.
You accept taxes, though.
Taxes are necessary.
No, they
part
not.
of life. Yes,
no, they not. Taxes was not involved in the fabric of America when we had this. Taxes came along after these bankers and the Rothschilds got involved in it.
No, they was fighting against the king. That's why we got our
and listen, we got no representation. And that's why the government got formed. And that's how the government got formed.
You can't ask the government to do anything for you if you're
there was no tax when this government was formed.
There was tax.
No, it wasn't.
It was something.
No, it wasn't.
It was something.
No.
You weren't here. You don't know. It was something going on. They was collecting money somehow. Who wants to be in charge of something that's not collecting money? Nobody. Who wants to be in charge of CMP? Ain't no money coming in here. Ain't nobody rushing to be in here.
The people who ran the country had jobs. They had a farm. No, he was white.
Yeah. Anyway.
They had a farm. Hold on. They had farms. Some of them were slaveholders, so they had labor. Okay? These people weren't destitute and needed your money because you didn't have a corporate structure. You had nothing to tax because people made items themselves and they sold it themselves and they bought goods and service or traded or bartered amongst themselves. We did not need taxes. We did not need taxes. They hit this game on us now. All of a sudden, everybody, well, that's the price of doing business. I don't want to do that type of business. That's not the price of doing business when you have a county that levies you with a 5% tax, a 19% tax, and a 25% tax. Where you hold on. And then you got a township in the same year that gives you a 1% earned income tax.
They just taxing everything.
Okay, because you know why? Because the people aren't revolutionary, like you said. They're not revolutionary. See, if this was back in the day, some people would be running out of town tarred and feathered. If this was back in the day,
tarred and feathered.
Yeah, they actually put tar on them and they actually put them in feathers and they actually ran them out of town. That's not a euphemism, bro. That was an actual thing that happened back in the day. When you think that you was getting over on the people as a carpetbagger or coming to be a charlatan, that's my favorite word for liars and thieves, charlatan. Because they think they know everything, but they always talk about nothing.
Yeah, that's a lot of that.
Yeah, and that's who basically some of these politicians are, because they ain't even qualified to fix your toilet, bro. I'm dead serious.
You really have to be qualified to be a
it should.
politician?
You know what it should be? You know what you should have. You know what you should have. What? I believe that you should have a political science degree.
A political science degree?
Yes. Because you would understand. Because then you would understand.
Now, did the founding fathers have a political science degree?
No, the founding fathers had the passion to make a framework government based upon the times by listening to the people. It wasn't just, we're going to do this, blah, 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 blah,
so
blah.
What you're saying is,
and hold on, wait a minute. Some of them were lawyers.
Some of them were doctors.
Some of them were doctors.
Some of them were butchers.
Some were butchers.
Some of them were electricians.
No, not electricians. You didn't have electricity.
They were working with candles and stuff. They were lighting candles.
I mean, yeah.
Candles.
But here's the thing. That the framework for the building of this was centered around who? The people, or the people who benefited from the time, because we all know who didn't. At any rate, that's what it's for. Now, who's benefiting now from these measures? Every single lawyer, solicitor in this county, in this township, in this city.
It's because we're allowing that.
Right. Again, we're allowing that.
Right.
We're allowing it. Because why? Because nobody is challenging. Nobody's pushing back. No. And as soon as you push back, you get called what? A traitor.
A traitor?
A coon.
I wouldn't call you a coon.
Which, man, listen, I know you wouldn't.
I call you my brother.
And I guarantee.
And we can disagree on everything.
Listen,
you say,
I ain't got to disagree. I got everything in black and white. See, that's the whole difference between me and other people that's going to come into you and start talking to you, P. I'm going to give it to you in black and white, brother. I'm not going to play no games with you. I'm going to give you facts and figures and paragraphs and stuff that's going to keep you up nights and give you fits. Okay? I'm going to show what happened. I'm going to show the redlining that happened in my district. I had a conversation on one of my pages with a good friend, but she was mistaken when she thought that I put up a post about, hey, you cheer for these illegals, but you won't help us fight for reparations. And erroneously, she was like, hey, there's no, you weren't slaves and the slaves don't need reparations. Hey, listen, I'm not talking about the slave story. I'm talking about the after Reconstruction story when we had money.
And towns were burned down and drowned.
Right. I'm talking about when people told us go up over there to the rocky part of this area where they knew that they couldn't make the grass grow for nothing and everything like that, and we made everything happen.
And then they came
and came back and took it.
Right.
Okay. I'm talking about eugenics, where they had the sterilization of North, South Carolinians and those from Tennessee, and those for Tennessee. Yep, there we go. Thank you. It had nothing to do. Had nothing to do with the Rothschilds. Yeah, okay, all right. You say it had nothing to do with the Rothschilds.
I mean, I think it has a lot to do with people that are already already have.
Who set up the central bank system?
I don't know.
Okay,
somebody had more money than me.
Right. Okay, who had that money? Because, like you said, remember, we weren't collecting taxes.
Because they realized that the powerful people have money, right? The people that can make things happen have money.
Same way these central banks got set up all around the world. You didn't think they didn't have a hand in setting this up and coming a part of the income tax system? Man, come on, man. They've been robbing and raping us since the beginning of the time.
And so why would they stop?
I know that. Why would we stop? But why won't we fight?
I think it's what we're fighting for.
No more taxes.
But again, whoever, like she just said, whoever has the money makes the rules.
Of course they do.
So if we have more people, then if we have more people that wanted to invest in something, we can make the rules.
Okay, I'm going to say this. We have a county right near us that actually lowered taxes.
Which county is that?
Chester County.
Chester County. You know why Chester County lowered taxes?
Oh, I know about Chester County. Listen. We ain't going to get into it. We ain't going to get into it.
But you have to.
But no, hold on. Wait, wasn't that hold on. Wasn't that bipartisan? Was it not bipartisan?
It was.
Okay.
But
bipartisan, baby.
But it's bipartisan, understanding that the only thing that really separates us is nothing.
Okay, right. Hold on.
But
isn't that a common sense approach to it, though?
Yes. But
okay. So what are we doing?
There are things that separate the parties.
Right. Hold on. Wait a minute. Because guess what? It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or you're Republican in this white supremacist built system. It doesn't matter. The dollar does. And since that dollar does matter, okay, because I'm not calling people white supremacists, but the system was based on that, and it's still based upon that. Okay.
We got tons of roads that ain't being fixed and tons of things that aren't being done.
Oh, can I ask a question about that too?
But I get that too.
Oh, can I ask a question?
And that's why I said taxes have to go up. There are different fees. Things have changed. It's the price of living.
Bro, you have so much mismanagement. You have so much wasteful spending.
And stop with the not so subtle anti. Ain't nobody
talking about nothing, bro. Yo, make it up. Who is this dude?
He's all right. He's all right. He's been.
He better calm. Yo, listen, bro.
He's been a follower for 5 years.
Listen.
This is what they do.
Okay.
So we're not being anti-Semitic. I love all my Jewish people.
Listen. I will get my Jewish friends to come on here and tell you to go shut the hell up. All right, keep playing with me. Don't ever. Keep playing with me.
What's up, bro? How you feeling?
You listen, bro.
I know.
I'm the same way in person. I don't want people to get this thing that because I'm behind the microphone.
I need you to breathe. Though.
Okay, you know I'm already breathing, bro. Right. But for this guy, he needs to understand something. Anytime you want to come see me for a cup of coffee before you start calling me a name, make sure that you get me right. I'm not one of them bulls that just get behind the mic. You understand what I'm saying? Anytime that you want to call me a name, make sure that you set up a place for a cup of coffee and you come say that to my face. I bet you won't. Don't see, this is what I'm talking about, letting people slide with stuff out of their mouth.
No, you let them slide.
No, you don't let nobody slide. No. You don't let nobody slide. Because you don't let nobody slide. That's the problem. That's the problem. Because people think it's PC to get on Facebook. No, bro. People think it's PC. No.
I can't touch you on Facebook now.
What you mean?
You ever heard the saying that two people
bro, can I tell you something?
Two people arguing from a distance, you can't tell which
bro, can I tell you something?
Who's a fool?
No. I travel. And I'm going to keep it like that. I travel. Everybody ain't hitting behind no Facebook. They ought to need to understand something. You can be talked to up close and personal. Mind your business if you don't know who you're talking to. Be careful with who you're talking to. Anybody can be found, bro. Anybody.
I'm not saying they can't.
Okay, then they need to understand something. When you come onto my program, don't you throw no terms talking about I'm something or I got any type of racism in my body. Because you can come say that to my face. Because I will come to where you at and give you a cup of coffee and ask you what your problem is. I don't play those type of games.
You didn't see his first comment, Rich?
I ain't see nothing, bro. Right. Let me see what he's saying. What do you say? What do you got to say? What does this man got to say?
Now, did you hear they put back the slave history on the president's house in Philly? Hope they push back more on what Trump is doing.
All right, listen.
And did you expect for him not to say what he just said?
Listen. No, I have a man trying to come in and throw some shit on my page and virtue signal, and I'm letting him know that I will slap that signal down your throat. I don't care how you take it. Let me give you fair warning. Don't play with me. Everybody knows how I get down, from police chiefs to DAs to judges. I don't play with my name, and I don't play with nobody else's name. Watch your mouth.
You spell that wrong.
Yeah, whatever. Ain't nothing subtle, bro. Ain't nothing subtle. An evil, wicked man sent his own people to death and robbed them when they got on trains to go to the gas chamber. Ain't that the history of the Rothschilds? You want to play with my history, gang? Ain't nobody being an anti-Semite. The history is the history.
On to other topics.
So back to what I was saying about the Black History Month celebration in Upper Darby Township. So, Lieutenant Stevens, said what she had to say. The mayor said, you need to listen to your leaders because we know best and we know this and we know this, and listen to that. And I listened to my state rep. I know it's important for us to have certain symbols when it comes to Black leadership. I know that we're supposed to have a certain respect when it comes to it. No, he don't know me. He gonna get to know me. As soon as I get off of here, I'm a friend request him. Before I leave Chester, I'm gonna make sure I friend request you, my friend, and then you can talk that talk. But getting back to my state rep, because I do live in her legislative district. So when I saw that she was going to be on the panel, I was absolutely interested to hear what, needed to be said by all three. And like I said, nobody said anything wrong. Everybody said the right thing. But what kind of took me aback, and I'm saying it very mildly, is because this is why the significance of Black history is important. She had made mention, and again, I videotaped this. I videotaped it on the live. She had made mention of the fact that as a teenager, she hadn't seen anything of significance during a certain time period that she was growing up, as if there was a gap in between protesting for equal rights, better jobs, justice, having our children fed, having our women protected, mass incarceration, not sending anybody off to war. And I had to stand up and remind my state rep that there was a protest called the Million Man March. And I'm not going to get into who helped sponsor it because I know a lot of people don't particularly care for who helped sponsor it. That didn't matter to me. What mattered and what I saw during that time and during that date was that it was a bunch of men from a whole different bunch of walks of life. And I wouldn't say that it was a uniting of sense, but there was a unity of sorts, a camaraderie, a sense of purpose, a sense of mutual understanding. There was no, gritting. There was no looking at your shoes. There was no where you from, what you claim. There was smiles. There was laughter. There was sharing of food. There was sharing of water. There was help. There were people having individual stories and having individual conversations along with what was being said and along with, the speakers and along with all of that. And messages were formed from that. And what bothers me is that, like I said, if there isn't a significance for Black History Month, that's one of the major reasons why. Because people forget. And the collective part of the room, after she had said what she said, like I said, it's not a blame, but this is what I'm going to use as an example, that people will forget you. And they will forget your significance of what you made in history. They will forget you. And then years later, someone will claim that you didn't do anything or nobody did anything. And then somebody has to go dig up and you become obscure history. Because we don't want to promote what we don't like. Or we don't want to promote what we don't identify with. But then you expect a group of people to be intelligent, to understand where they come from, and they have no knowledge. And they're not being taught that. And here we go with the merry-go-round of the same old excuses. Same old excuses. Just like people say, I get tired of hearing about that. I get tired of hearing about your excuses. I get tired of hearing your excuses of why you can't get up, or why you don't want to get up, or why you don't want to teach your children, or why you don't want to explain your beautiful history, whether it be black, whether it be Italian, whether it be Jewish, whether it be, Greek, whether it be Korean, whether it be Vietnamese, whether it be Spanish, Venezuelan. We have multiple days of celebrations of culture. But we got to get lost in this obscurity because of what people tell us how to celebrate it or when we should celebrate it. I'm saying this. If you're going to celebrate it every day, then start off with the month. If it's going to be every day, then get into practice, because it takes 30 days to change or make or break a habit. So if you're not in the habit of talking about Black history every day, here's the significance. Here's 30 days, free trial. Let's see if you can accomplish that. I can tell a lot of people right now, yes, on my posts, I drop a lot of Black history during Black History Month. That's what it's for. That's what I'm supposed to do. But I don't go get the Black history that they've already read, heard, or experienced. I go get the Black history that we all don't know, that we all never heard, because I want to know. And then when I want to know about what happened inside of my culture, especially here in America, I share that. And the reason why I share that is because the folks who are following me and say, Rich, we love how you present Black history to us. We love how you're teaching us and you're not shoving it down our throats. Yes, I'm just putting it on a plate and say, here you go. You can eat it or not. But you cannot dismiss the history. The history is not up for interpretation. The history is what it is. The history is what it is. And we have to live in these moments and decide whether or not we're going to learn from that history and move on to better positions and points. I keep putting up posts about how my generation solved racism. We solved racism through talking about the black and white. We solved it by talking about the uncomfortable conversations around the water cooler. We talked about the differences of skin color. We talked about the differences of community. We've already eaten with one another. Oh yeah, I mean, here's the significant part of the Black history and why I keep saying Black American history. The majority of the inventions that come from Black folks come from Black Americans. African American, Black American, Indigenous Black, whatever you want to call them. A good 70% of the inventions invented after Reconstruction and into the industrial age still lasts today, just under different variations and under different patents. And that's what our children need to learn. That this was American ingenuity that was born out of a people who wanted to decrease their suffering and labor by thinking and coming up with new and inventive ways in order to reduce their labor. Not to make money off of it, but to benefit other people, to keep them from suffering. The man, Ian Metzlager, who invented the shoe lasting process, was told he would never be able to do that. Hey, Lean, congratulations on being on that accountability panel. Can't wait to see you on Saturday. Without these folks, America would not be America. You would still have wrinkled clothes. You wouldn't have refrigerated trucks. You wouldn't have your ring cams. And a host of other things. Yes. It was to reduce our labor, and people got paid off of that. And so we know who the inventors are, so we need to keep their legacy alive. That's what the significance of Black History Month is, because people forget. We say, lest we forget for our servicemen and women. We say, lest we forget for those who perished and were murdered at Pearl Harbor. We say, lest we forget for those who died during 9/11. But when it comes to this warfare that happened to an indigenous people here, because the only way that you can have slaves is war. Everybody knows that what constitutes from out of slavery, before slavery, what comes before slavery is war. So when you have these things, once again, like I said, I'm not knocking anybody's celebration, but I'm not going to let anybody downplay the significance of this month. It is necessary. We have a bunch of children who have no understanding the history of who they are. Do you understand that there are kids out here walking right now in this generation that don't know what their grandparents did for a living or what their success was in order to keep them here, that it's not talked about? We need more people to have these conversations with children in their family and know your bloodline lineage. You can start there with your Black history. Talk about how successful your great-grandparents were and what they did. Because it is a success story coming from out of Jim Crow, coming from out of these places. It is a success story. They're not just survivors. They're the overcomers to make you the overachievers, so that way you can have the dreamers, so you can have the rock stars and the icon setters that we're trying to make today. But these kids have no rock, no foundation. Where's their foundation? Where is it set at? Our leadership starts at home. The last thing that I want, or the last thing that I need, is somebody who has never been through any of the experiences that we have been through, trying to attest to me that they know what it's like for us when you did not grow up like us. You may have grown up a certain color, but let's keep it straight. You did not touch poverty. When I went to the anti-poverty symposium with Mayor Roots in attendance, that was the common thing that he and I both saw. I'm being very serious. I'm being very serious about that. In that room. See, I'm not going to play politics. I'm going to play what affects black folks. I'm going to play what people say in front of your face and talk behind your back when you're not in the room with them or you don't have on that translator app. See, people get sucked in because we want to have favorites. I have no picks. I have 0 picks. I'm not rah-rahing for the man, but I'm saying he brought something to my attention when he said, looking around the room, how many of you have faced or lived below the poverty line? And none of them could raise their hands. He could. That's relatable. That doesn't mean that I'm going to follow his policy and jump on his bandwagon. But there are certain things that I can get from people that I need to utilize to get the message across to people that the same people that he's coming up against are the same people that's coming up against me and coming up against you, and they want what you got. And if you don't believe me, start coming to the meetings and hear it for yourself. Or better yet, why don't you watch them on YouTube? Because Upper Darby is about to shut down speech, and Chester's next. Why? Because nobody don't want nobody saying nothing about somebody I like. I don't care who you like. People don't like me, and they talk about me every day. So what? I know they talk about me every day. I'm glad that they do. That makes me relevant. I'm glad they hate my guts. That lets me know that I'm doing something right. Like I said, you ain't got to like me, but you know one thing that you can't say about me? You can't call me a liar. When I'm telling you about what's going on in these rooms, you can't call me a liar. Because once again, like I said, I'm going to put it to you in black and white. Because I don't play games with folks when I'm trying to tell you something about that can harm you, because I don't care about the color. I don't care about the politician. I don't care about the red. I don't care about the blue. I don't care about that D. And I damn sure don't care about that R. Because all of those have shown me exactly who they are. You got your people over here, the Dems, they don't like this, they don't like that, they don't like you talking about this, they don't want you to be a man, heterosexual, straight man talking like I'm talking, they're going to shut you down. That's what they did, right? Nobody can dispute that. Did the Democrats not block my speech illegally? Yes, they did. Proven. But let's talk about your GOP. Your GOP, they got no answers, they got no clues, they got nothing to say, and the best they can do is talk about the Wawa closing the 69th Street 2 weeks ago. That's old news. They ain't gonna show up. You can't count on them. Leadership, the people are the leadership. The opposition, regular folks who went and dug up the truth. But see, people don't want the truth. They want their truth, or the truth that you agree with, or the truth that agrees with you. You're not willing to listen to somebody else's side and see their side of the coin. Same way people don't care about the environment of Chester. They don't care. They want what they want. But guess what I'm going to do? Help Chester fight. Come on, Pauline. You know I know what I'm talking about. Like I'm not even gonna lie. I was really highly offended that my brother's picture was put up there on that up on that post like that. Highly offended. Highly. Again, like I said, you're going to try to take somebody's legacy and make it yours. My brother's legacy was not the GOP of Upper Darby Township. That was not his legacy. He was a soldier. He was a son. He was a brother. He was a humanitarian who loved everybody. Everybody. He did not discriminate. Whether you were Democrat or Republican, he talked to everyone. That's what he taught me. Rich, you got to talk to people. You have to talk to everyone. You have to hear their perspective. You can't shut people down. You can't shut them out, and I don't. But there are people that won't give me the benefit of a conversation because you already don't like the way I walk or like the way that I talk. I wouldn't have to walk or talk this way if there were 10 more men behind me standing up the way that they need to, instead of the women always coming to the forefront. It's always the women. I have a problem with that with Black History Month when we got a gazillion men that have done such great and incredible work, and then when we turn around now in history, we see the woman, the woman, the woman, the woman, the woman, the woman. And I'm not mad about that, but damn it, where are you, dudes? Where are you, men? Where are you? Where are you? This is not an admonishment. This is a challenge. This is not an admonishment. This is a challenge because men need to be checked. These boys need to be checked. And I can't check them like a woman, and I can't check them from a woman's perspective, and I ain't going to do it. I'm going to talk to you like the man that you say you are. I'm going to talk to you like the man that you say you want to be. I'm going to talk to you like the man that commands the respect in the neighborhood, in the community. But stand up. I want to say something real quick about these protests, and maybe you haven't seen my page, but let me make sure that I read this correctly. I'm so glad that I am not a parent of a child attending school anymore. I'm so happy for that. Absolutely, Lee. And that's what we need. The atmosphere has to change. And you know, and like I said, I don't want to be the one to have that voice. I really want to be silent. I really want to work behind the scenes. I want to be the connect guy. I want to be the guy that you know runs the ball and brings it to you, and somebody else gets in the spotlight. But when we have no status symbol of men standing in the spotlight, somebody's got to take it, or else it disappears. That's been our history. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not being vain. I'm telling you flat out, if I could do this all over again, I would have never done it. If I knew that this was going to bring me this much disapproval and this much hate, if I knew that I was going to get this much pushback for being a black man standing up for my culture, I'd have never done it. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to have to say that. It's the truth. If I knew that I was going to be hated for having an opinion, if I knew that I was going to be hated for thinking differently, I'd have kept my mouth shut. And now I see why men don't want to stand up. Because we constantly get shot down for having a different point of view, from having a different perspective, for thinking for ourselves. I'm not against you. I'm actually for you. I'm just not for the BS. I'm just not for the hero. I'm just not here for the hero worship. I'm not for the idolatry. I'm sorry, I'm different. I'm not rah-rahing no man. I'm not putting no woman on no pedestal. I'm not putting no other gods before my God. I'm not doing that. You are a man. You are a woman. You are an elected official. You are an officer. You have a position, but you're not God. And since both of my parents are deceased, there's no one above me except for my Lord. I take the criticism and I take the feedback, greatly. Trust me, folks. I get a lot of calls from my brothers and sisters, and they say, Rich, that was great, but you know, you might want to try this time and go in that direction. And I can tell you, I do listen. I listen to my friends. Lean, I listen to you too, Lean. I do. Listen, Lean, I pay attention to you too. That's why I come to Chester. That's why I'm on Team Circle Team 2. I absolutely believe that they need to stop this pollution up here in this area and have a clean community like we all need it and love it and deserve it. I 100% stand behind that. No ifs, ands, buts about it. I don't need to ask you no questions. Let's go. It's the right thing to do. I know some people going to talk about energy and it's safe and da-da-da-da. I don't want to hear it. Chester has endured enough environmental hardships to suffer for over 5 lifetimes. Somebody else needs a turn or find a better way to do it. New York and Philadelphia and all points south and east and west should not be using this one place as its dumping ground, as its spewer of chemicals, as their experimenter of whatever. We have to stand together. So her fight is my fight. I'm not on the team. I'm not there for the meetings, but I'm there for the press conferences. I'm there for when she's speaking in front of council. I'm there for when she's on podcasts. I'm there when she's speaking. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? It's important because I love children. Here's what we have in common. I love children. I don't want a child to be sick. I don't want our elderly to be sick. I don't want our elderly to have asthma. I don't want our children to be born prematurely. I don't want our children to be born in autism. And we know the studies go when we're around these highly polluted areas in our atmosphere that these things happen. So we don't want to play any games with it. So I don't have to be a leader for Circle, but you know what? I can be a foot soldier and I can stand right behind the man that stands right behind the woman and raise my fist in the air and say, we don't want these pollutants, get these polluters out of here. Because that's what we need to do. The same way people stand for me when I say that I don't subscribe to murder because of the tragedies that happened in my life. We have common things that we all stand for. And if we can all stand for the common ground things, we can work on the issues and the rough edges of everything else instead of allowing people to pull us apart. I don't want to be separated from my black family. I don't want to be separated from my Italian family either. I don't want to be separated from my Greek family. I don't want to be separated from my Puerto Rican family. I don't want to be separated from my Jewish family. I don't want to be separated from my Vietnamese family. I don't want to be separated from no other family. Because guess what? We're burying too many. You're right, Lee. We're burying a whole lot of people for whatever reason. And for some of us, you know, the time is shorter than longer. So to tell me to switch a position at my age based upon how you feel is not something I'm going to do. I have built up commitments and friendships with people over the years based upon me being a black man speaking freely. That's what they know about me. Oh, absolutely. Listen, they don't know about the biochemical warfare nor about the sound that they're using as well. That high pitch sound that you guys hear at night at around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's just not what they're pumping in the air. It's the sound too. There's a signal being beamed at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning in Chester. Sometimes a little bit earlier, around 2:30. They are being done on purpose. They are being done on purpose. And we have to purposely stand together and unite or have a united front or have that unity. As long as the cause is righteous and it doesn't hurt anybody and it doesn't discriminate and it doesn't exclude people, I'm with you. How about that? That's where we at. I don't care about your color. I don't care about your gender. I don't care about the color of your hair. I don't care about your nails. I don't care about none of that stuff. I'm not materialistic. That's not what I'm looking for when I stand next to you. I'm looking for the you in you. I'm looking for the you in you. I want to see the you in you. And I'm going to find the you in you. Because I'm not going to put myself next to you knowing that you're going to get over on somebody. I can easily pick out charlatans real quick. They expose themselves very quickly, very shifty. Very shifty. We have people that are coming for our spots. We have people who want to eat our lunch. There's two things that I want to say real quick. Hold on, let me pull this up real fast. I forgot something real quick. Hold on. That's not what I wanted. I wanted something else. Hold on a second. Okay. Here are 10 things, 10 rebuttals. Here's 10 rebuttals to someone being sarcastic to you. I've been wanting to do this for a minute, so here we go. So let's say someone says you're useless. Here's your reply. Yet here you are, focused on me. Number 2, you're too confident. Your reply. Confidence only bothers people who lack it. Number 3, you won't go far. Here's your reply. I've already passed where you stopped. Number 4, you're fake. Here's your reply. Real enough to trigger you. Number 6, you think you're so smart. I'm sorry. Number 5, you think you're so smart. Reply, no, I just pay attention. Ta-da. You talk too much. Only when something's worth saying. Number 7, you're annoying and somehow still unforgettable. Number 9, you'll fail. Failure listens to me, not the other way around. And number 10, you don't matter. Here's your reply. Strange, you keep proving that I do. And the reason why I'm giving you this is so that way, when people retort at you with these insults to try to come on your pages or come into your comments to bring you down, to try to insult you, you have to push back on these people because they've been getting away with it for too long. Now, I don't know who that gentleman is. And like I said, everybody knows me. Anytime somebody says something wrong to me and they think they're going to get away with it, I always invite them out for a cup of coffee. I've had a cup of coffee with Police Superintendent Bernhardt. I've had coffee with Mayor Ed Brown. I've had coffee with Barbara Ann Keffer. I've had coffee with Mr. Sheikh Sadiq. I've had coffee with all my public officials anytime that I wanted to say something to any of them. I'm not afraid to have no coffee with nobody, but don't run your mouth recklessly thinking that you're going to get away with it without me coming and ask you about it. That's life. That's life. I don't know what type of life y'all lead, but I don't play those type of games. You don't get to talk slick out of your mouth and say things to people and about them without answering. That's the whole beauty of free speech. He had the freedom to say what he said, but that still wasn't going to stop me from the consequences of me telling him, look here, don't try to call me something that I'm not, when all my people that have ever supported me, part of them are part Jewish and part this and part that or whatever, but they're Americans and they know that Rich Blye don't get down with none of that. The only thing I'm racist against is ignorance. I hate ignorant people. I hate ignorance. I can't tolerate ignorance. You unsettle me when you're ignorant. We can do better together. We can do better together. And that's the significance of Black history, is because during this Black history, people were doing better. When black people do better, the country does better. That's been proven. When black communities are thriving, instead of being poisoned, America does better. It's been proven. But people want to play like this is the goose that laid the golden egg. Let's just chop off the neck and see how many golden eggs we can get by shaking it out of the body. Oh, no. American Black history, if it wasn't for us getting involved in the Civil War and every other campaign of war, this country still would be speaking either with a British accent or a Southern one. These are facts. If it wasn't for Benjamin Banneker, Washington, D.C. would not have the blueprint that it has now, and so do other major cities that came after that are built after that blueprint and pattern. If it wasn't for the fighting forces of black men and women and the heroism that they had on the battlefield without recompense of a Medal of Honor, many other Americans would have never made it home. The Harlem Hellhounds, so notorious that nobody wanted to come in contact with these gentlemen. Ferocious, fierce, unwavering bravery in our military, in our sciences, the best of the best of the best, mathematics that put people on the moon, recorded history, space, time, travel. The significance goes on and on and on. And every time this month comes around, people conveniently find a way to diminish the significance of black American history. Well, I'm sorry. I always tell y'all, when you come on my page, you're going to get educated. You're either going to get educated or you're going to get entertained. One of the two. One of the two is going to happen. Either I'm going to meme you to death, either I'm going to be right back you, or I'm just going to put some knowledge out there that I think that people should know and let you judge for yourself. I've already read through it and then did a little research on it and found what I need for it and put it into my little energy cap so that way I could put that battery on my back and keep it moving with the knowledge that I have. And then I share it to the rest of the world, and you're supposed to do what you want to do, what you're doing. Love you too, Pauline. You do what you want to do with it yourself. That's not my concern. That's not my concern. Once I give you the information, it's up to you to accept it. It's up to you to utilize it. If you don't, you don't. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If it's something that you already know, great, confirm it. But guess what? Sharing is caring. Somebody else may not know. Somebody might need that information. I tell you, it's been a very interesting week. The second thing that I want to talk about before I leave is that I want to talk about children and protesting. Children and protesting. Hold on. I gotta bring it up again. Because this is just something that I really feel as though it needs to be said. I know everybody's not going to agree with it. But this is just what I do. Hold on. Because I want to read it word for word. I don't want to get it wrong. Dear supporters of illegals, you have the right to protest. You have the right to scream as loud as you want. You have the right to peacefully assemble. You have the right to address your grievances with your elected officials. You have the right to petition your government and have conversations about how you feel. Let me tell you what you don't have the right to do. You don't have the right to assault anybody. You don't have the right to dox people with their information. You don't have the right to spit on them. And I see a lot of people all of a sudden becoming more braver and also a little bit more dangerous with weapons. If you want to violate my rights of letting you be great while I live, I want to warn you. Don't. Your battles are your battles. My battles are mine. I don't come into your spaces. Like I told Upper Darby Township, I don't want to come back to your council meetings. There's nothing there for me. There's nothing for me to talk about. We all know what that ordinance is being written for. We know why. They don't want anybody on the outside who's looking into your town to tell you about the players that are trying to set you up for failure, that are pretending to be your friends while they're giving you a pittance of what you want, but at the same time, they're going to stab you in the back later because that's what they did. I'm going to give you some very, very, very disturbing numbers. Chester is a black city, just like Compton was a black city. Compton was a black city. Compton, during the 80s and the late 90s, was 79% black. By the year 2000, 44%. By 2010, 37%. %. That's a huge drop. That means that somebody came back in, just like they said in Boys in the Hood, just like Furious Styles said. First, they got to demoralize you in your own community. They got to get you drinking and drugging. And then they got to devalue your property, the value of your properties, so they can move you on, have you sell your home for a pittance because you can't pay these taxes. And then some developer's going to come in, put up cheap housing, and put a hefty price tag on it, and some lobbying politician is going to get paid because that's what you got going on in Chester. You got a whole bunch of people lobbying. Anytime they talking to somebody on the outside, and they're not talking about no independent contractors that already do work for the city, somebody's about to get paid. Anytime that you see something that says capital gains, somebody's about to get paid. Chester, you better wake up. Just like I said, Upper Darby used to be a black town, or was on its way to being predominantly black. And they got them up out of there. And they decreased those numbers to ensure that there will be no majority of any type of people in there so they can balance it. But the way they're balancing it is just the same caste system from over in India and Pakistan and all those other countries. Now it's based upon money. In the meantime, they're going to give us gambling and slots. In the meantime, they're going to keep plying our children with dope and no hope. But we can't teach the significance of a month that is supposed to promote the positive nature of a culture of people from America and the rest of the world. So I have to make certain declarations too, since a lot of people are going around and making their declarations very clear. We have to do better. We have to ensure for our future that our future is going to be what it is together in a certain code of conduct. When I go to this event on Saturday, this accountability dinner, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. Because no matter who doesn't show up for it, I think what matters is that those who do show up absolutely care about what is going on with Chester. I think that this is a move in the right direction where you have an open town hall like experience. I believe that it's long overdue. The one thing I will say, folks that attend, don't tear each other down. Be agreeable with your brothers and sisters. Be agreeable with them. Understand that their environment and the things that they see is from their point of view. It will be different from yours. It doesn't make it any less significant. It just means that at that time, you don't have that same shared experience that that person has. Younger people, listen to your elders. Please, when they go to speak, they are speaking from a place and a time that you don't know about because it was hidden from us too. And now that we have the connection, we're waking up and remembering what was done to us, and we're very quickly trying to give it to you so they don't do it to us again. That's where you have to understand. You can't tell us to shut up. You have to give us the opportunity to help you understand what is going on, because we had an idea, we just couldn't prove it. Now we can prove it, and we can tell you how to avoid it. Experience is not always the best teacher. You don't have to experience falling down in the mud. You don't have to step into a puddle and break your ankle when it's a pothole. That's not experience, that's stupidity. If someone tells you, hey, don't walk that way, it's a dead end, and you go, I need to find out for myself, you're an idiot. We've already explained to you the danger. We've already told you which way that it's going to go. But I get it. Sometimes some people just need to, find out for themselves. I get it. But then don't come back blaming. Don't come back blaming and saying nobody was there for me. No, you weren't listening. And I'm hearing a lot of that because I have folks, again, blaming our generation from what was hidden from us. Thank God for this internet. Thank God for all of these search tools. Thank God for AI and the stuff that we're able to dig up now that was hidden from us, because again, we didn't have the tools that you guys have now. But you know what we got? We got the minds, and we have the remembrance of the experience. So when we talk about an experience, we can now go and put that experience together with the fact and now give it to you completely. Whereas before in the past, we let you down, so to speak, only because we didn't have the instructions with the tool, or the tool without the instructions. Now that it is complete, and I know you want to do your thing and you want to get there fast, but can I tell you something, young folks? If you don't have a foundation, it don't matter what you build, it's going to fail. You have to have a foundation. Now, if you want to make a new foundation, that's great. But any builder will tell you they always select certain stones from an old building in the patchwork of a new one, because those bricks are still sturdy. If you go to any developer, they'll tell you, I want to keep that wall, because that wall is still sturdy from bricks that were made before anybody was born. There are still houses that are still standing because of the masonry that went into it. So that's how you have to look at your elders. They're the masonry. They're the bricks of that wall that's still standing. The house may not be complete, or the house may have gotten burnt, but the wall is still standing. And if you can build off of that wall, put all the new components in, put the new AI in, put the all interactive stuff in there, go right ahead. But build on that foundation, young people. Don't discard it. Don't be foolish. Don't think that you bigger, better. I'm gonna make it, blah blah blah. Because guess what? Everybody that did bigger, better, and thought they make it on their own. Don't you see all these fools broke now? Basketball wives and all this other type of people, they broke because they thought they were doing something new and exciting, blah blah blah. When the money ran out and there was no foundation and there's no royalties and there's no this and there's no that, and now they gotta go get regular jobs. That's why. But there are people that built the foundation that even though that they might not have been as successful with their venture, they can always have something to fall back on of a legacy that their family has provided for them. Same thing at this radio station. This radio station has built a legacy and a foundation that a lot of people have launched themselves from, and a lot of people are going to stand in the future. Because we're going to get it done. And that's the unity here at cmpradio.net. Hold on. I found my dad's bell, bro. Yeah, bro. You know, I hyperextended my elbow. Shoveling snow. I'm not Well, see, what happened is that we had a snow machine, right? And the snow machine, the snowblower, it conked out. Oh, no. The snowblower, it conked out. So I'm 6'3".
Yeah.
And the pavement is down here.
You sure you're 6'3"?
And the pavement is down here.
You sure you're 6'3"?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, bro.
All right. Okay.
Actually, no, hold on.
All right.
6'2" and 3/4.
All right. Okay.
All right.
I'm just asking.
6'2" and 3/4. Since you would be technical about it, 6'2" and 3/4.
Right.
That's the official. Doggone it, man. So you know, I'm shoveling, and I didn't know that I popped it. I just felt, you know, little twinge, little pain, little stiffness. And I did the whole urgent care thing and got it wrapped, compressed, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was looking for my dad's bell. So I was just sitting there and I cleaned it up and I polished it and everything. And I tapped it. Ding, ding, ding. Next thing I know, I felt something go. I said, oh, that's how you want to do that? That's what happens? And then I remember reading about the healing effect of bells and the transmutative power that they have.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, that can't happen.
Where'd you find your dad's bell?
I did a deep cleaning of everything in my life from back in 2007. I got rid of all the old paperwork from all of my child support cases and everything like that. And as I was going through, I found certain effects of my dad's that I thought that I had lost, but actually I had safely put away and forgotten about it. And it was all dusty and you know, and I just went and got some polish real quick and, you know, got this brass up. And I remember my dad hitting this bell certain ways to get the tone and the way that it resonated throughout the house. So I'm still trying to find that tone. I think I hit that bell the first time when this factor happened with my elbow. I think I hit the right tone. It's somewhere on there because this bell has strike points from my dad. It's not exactly even. There's strike points where my father hit this bell at.
Right.
And like I said, this is the one that he had from when he came from home from Vietnam because he was a practicing Buddhist.
Right.
And there's just certain things that I know spiritually that I believe of my dad because I've seen certain things happen. Like I say, same thing in Christianity, same thing I've seen in Islam, and certain beliefs, Catholicism, even Judaism. there's a point of faith with everybody where the spirit moves in that faith, and wonderful things have happened to people, and there's no denying it. However you want to tie it in, I still find the beauty in that there is a creator, no matter what you call by name, that actually does look to heal its people. And we have to be the same way in that spirit, folks. We have to look to want to heal, not want to hate, not want to harm. I don't want to hate anybody. I don't. This is 2026. I know that there's a lot of stuff that went on last year and the year before that. But in 2026, man, I said, you know what? For me, look, they don't want me at the council meetings and disrupting this and disrupting that. Not that I was being disruptive. You know what? I don't need to be there. I don't need to go no more. You know, it's pointless. You know, it's pointless. Not for me, but it's pointless because what I'm fighting for is for other people that are actually going to suffer worse, and they're silent. So if they wanted to happen to them, if they cared, they would go to those meetings. I don't want to risk any more of my personal reputation for folks who don't want to fight for themselves, bro. I think it's time for me to produce some better, more positive karma for myself, for my future, and for my personal integrity, and love the people that want to love, rather than worry about all this hate that's stewing and everything like that. I do want to say this, though, about your children. I'm going to end it with this. Your children are not wards of the state. Nobody has the right to tell your child that they can go in a unsecure area and exercise constitutional rights. Number one, only a parent or a legal guardian can give the express right for the movement, placement, guardianship of their said child with any third-party entity. That includes school, that includes coaching activities, that includes civic programs. Your child has the rights that come underneath a guardianship from the parents. That means that they don't have exclusive rights. They have a bill of rights of how they're supposed to be treated. And what does the state mandate? 3 hots and a cot. It says that your child needs to be in school. It says that your child needs to not suffer any type of physical or other ailments, that they need to have regular doctor visits and stuff like that. So the parent is obligated to do these things under law. The child can't deny those things. The child can't say, I'm not going to go to the doctor. I've got rights. Child has to go to the doctor, or somebody goes to jail. These are enforceable rights. Fathers, under the Constitution, have the right to discipline their children as long as they don't ball up a fist or use a weapon. Discipline comes in various forms. Some of it is verbal. Like your father said, I don't want you down the street at Tommy John's house. He's bad news. If you disobey your father, then you can expect to be disciplined, right or wrong. So, teachers, administrators, school district officials, public officials, these children are not yours. Stop saying my kids, our kids. They're not your kids. They are your students. They are your scholars. They are not your kids. I get tired of telling you that. They are not your children. The more that they keep repeating this spell over and over and over again, the more parents believe it. Well, yeah, they do take care of my kids. No, you take care of your kids. They have a guardianship. That means that they have to stand by certain laws and make sure that there is no harm to your child. They have to make sure for the safety overall of the school, but also individually for your child. Before they can give your child any medicine at school, like an aspirin or ibuprofen, don't they have to call you? What are we talking about? See, y'all want to conveniently slip and slide with the law because of what's going on right now in the world, and we do understand. And if our children want to talk about that and they want to participate in something civically, get a permission slip. or have it on the campus and use it as an instructional time. Nobody's saying that these kids can't protest against ICE and how they feel about ICE. Nobody don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. I don't. The problem I have are these grown adults who think that they can tell your kids to do something past you that goes past your values in your house. If a parent doesn't want their child to participate in anti-ICE protests because that child happens to be a child of law enforcement, you can't go beat that kid up because their father's a cop. But that's what we're getting now, because that's what these instructors are pushing. They're pushing a certain type of hate because they're pushing a point of view, and now it's spilling over into the playground. That's not grooming. That's not indoctrination. Sounds like Hitler's youth to me. Because I'm going to tell you right now, my grandchildren have already been instructed. You go to school to learn. If you have any questions about society, if you have any questions about life that needs to be answered, you have father, mother, grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, and a whole slew of people who will envelope you and give you the truth so you can set your feet on the way that we want you to go. Because that's what every religious text says. Parents, you are responsible for the way that your child should go. You are responsible for their upbringing, not society. Society is not responsible or charged with your child. You are. Act like it. See you on the flip side.